Hello, listener. My name is Indrid Cold. What were you hoping to hear? A podcast about creatures or the unexplained from two suspiciously qualified individuals? I know you were. I've been watching these two for long enough. Let's listen in as Dave and Austin take you on the tour of the inspirations and theories behind pop culture's most interesting monsters. Welcome to the Cryptid Cast.
And she looked up and she said, when I seen them big red eyes, she said, we were out of there. Can't tell you what the rest of it looks like.
My mama said it was worse than the Frankenstein monster.
Hey, I don't know if this thing is spraying the market's territory or if it's just spraying when it gets mad like a skunk would.
Hello and welcome to the Cryptid Cast. I'm your card-carrying cryptozoologist Dave Chaffins, and joining me is my favorite, son of a Mothman, Austin O'Connor. How you doing, Austin?
I didn't think that one through. I ate a piece of Pop Tart when you started.
You're over there munching on some Kroger s'mores Pop Tarts, which if we could get a sponsor, that would
Kroger
be
brand Pop Tarts.
Kroger brand Pop
The
Tarts.
Cryptid Cast, brought to you by Kroger Pop Tarts.
Right.
Well-
Great value.
Yeah. No, but they're so good. And they're $1, like I just told you, they're like $1.25 for a 4-pack. And when you're balling on a budget,
For like a four, so like four of the two, 4 pairs.
yeah, so like 8 total.
Okay, yeah. 8
It's a
total
lot.
Pop Tarts.
$1 or something? Come
Yeah.
on.
It's a lot. Do you normally put them in the toaster? Or you prefer to put them in a toaster or just like straight out of the package?
When I was a kid, only toaster. I haven't put Pop Tarts in a toaster probably in like 10 years.
I haven't put Pop Tarts in a coaster in a long time. That's
I'm just like, you know what? Just gonna enjoy these as they are. I think it makes you appreciate them a little more. They're so good. But I also meant to have a sandwich before this, and I didn't do that. So
well, I mean, technically, aren't Pop Tarts like a sugar sandwich?
sort of.
It's
So
like
it's an
bread.
unhealthy.
and some like what is that icing? What's in there? Filling, sugar filling.
Quite a bit of unhealthy things that probably just aren't good for me, but it tastes great.
So, what's your favorite Pop Tart or Kroger brand Pop Tart?
See,
Brought to you by the CryptoCast.
Favorite ever? I see. Like it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
The top 2 that they alternate: brown sugar cinnamon and s'mores. Those are like 2 of my favorites. But sometimes I'm feeling real zany. I'll throw just like some like strawberry
Yeah.
in there. Get the little like multicolored sprinkles on there. Those are pretty good. But I would say my main 2 are brown sugar cinnamon and s'mores. Just because
As the kids say, I stand for brown sugar cinnamon. Did I use that one correctly?
you know where that came from.
Where
Stan?
did that come from?
It's from an Eminem song.
What?
The song "Stan."
An Eminem song,
Yeah,
not an
not
M
like
and
a-
M.
No, like Eminem,
I was
Marshall
like-
Mathers song.
Okay.
It was a
He's popular now.
right now, yeah.
Yeah.
The Nick Cannon stuff. That's a doozy. But no, he has a song called "Stan." I don't know if you've ever heard that song. It was an older
Yeah,
song.
isn't that like? Oh wait, that's a different one. That's like an Imagine Dragons song or something.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like Stan, blame it on to something.
I thought that was "Sail."
Or maybe that's
Is
Sail.
that the bow, ba, 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 bow,
Yeah.
ba, ba, sail? That no, totally different song.
Okay.
You've just been out of the rap loop for a while.
No,
This is like
let
a
me tell you-
'90s song.
Okay, well, I'm good with like from '95, and then I'm a gigantic Lil Nas X fan. I'm a like praise it from the rooftops. But is he rap? Could be. Is he rap? Mm-hmm. What's the difference in rap and hip hop? Or is hip hop a style and culture, and rap is like the equivalent of a singer? These are the questions that I have.
You're asking the wrong person. Somehow on my Spotify year Wrapped, my like number 1 genre was pop rap, but then it showed my top 5 artists, and it was like Gregory Alan Isakov, Tyler Childers, John Mayer, the Avett Brothers, Mac Miller. But my number 1 genre was pop rap. I don't understand
rap.
how that's a thing. I don't. What is pop rap?
I guess Drake would be considered like pop rap.
Like Drake's okay, but I don't really listen to him anymore.
It's like pop rock is like what now? Maroon 5 kind of
Yeah.
esque.
music genres are just weird to me.
Well, like I just think like pop is such a weird like when I think of pop music, I think of the '90s, but that's where it was termed as like that was like pop culture was a big thing, but now it's being used as like today's culture is pop culture. Yeah, it's kind of confusing.
It's music,
and I think about Justin Timberlake singing the song by NSYNC called "Dirty Pop."
That was a bop.
Yeah, that was good.
I loved that song.
He had that like weird. Do you remember the music video? He had that weird like mesh shirt on, like long sleeve mesh shirt, and he had the like, when everybody wanted the frosted tips hairstyle. I had it. Too.
I had it.
Yeah.
Dixie has the photos somewhere.
I probably got a yearbook in this room I can pull out from the.
Yeah, it was big.
It was
a big deal, but so we talked about how do we get Pop Tarts, Stan? Okay. Oh, but I never answered you. I'm doing great.
That's good.
It's really cold outside.
It is.
My car.
Weather update from Austin.
It's
cold. I need a
cold.
sound effect for that for your weather update. Yeah. Like some.
I need my own little weather segment. Yeah. But no, it's really cold outside. My battery I'm terrible in my car. I need a new battery.
Yeah.
So like I got in my car and I was just like, please.
And
I turned and it was like, and it started and I was like, yeah, this is probably like the last day of its life. Like I'm gonna probably no joke tomorrow I'm gonna have to get a new battery because I'll admit I have something to talk about with that later in the show.
Cool.
So we'll bring that back up.
Well, I had a good week. We did a lot of Christmas. We had like a nice fun weekend and just did a bunch of like we're gonna be busy here in the next few weekends. Like we got stuff like my wife's brother's graduating. Mm-hmm. We've got of course like Christmas is coming, Santa Claus coming to town. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. But this weekend we went and saw Jojo Rabbit. That finally came to the movie theater. Finally. It had been like 2 months since it's been out. Finally came. And went on a sushi date.
Ooh,
it was a good time. We went to it's a sushi place downtown called Ichiban.
I've still never been there.
Yeah, that's good. We ordered a bunch of sushi and just drank sake. If you're gonna, by the way, okay. Now here's the thing: if you wouldn't believe this, but I am a big, this. I'm a big into wine. Like I am,
you like the finer things.
I like the finer things, and not like I'm big into wine. It's like I can tell you what region most likely the wine is from if I taste it. I'm
really?
like, oh yeah, because I took geography of wine because background in geography.
Yeah,
we took. Every week, I tasted 15 different wines for a good half a year, and learned about all the regions, all of the different things, what all the labels mean, pairings, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I know a lot about that particular fermented type of alcohol.
Right.
Beer's a whole different world that it's I'm kind of whatever about.
Well, speaking of that, how did your mead making go?
Oh, it's okay. My mead making, which if you are like a podcast listener, this is maybe back in OG March. Listener. You're an OG listener. So I made a bunch of mead.
A bunch of mead.
You can have a bottle. I should do giveaways for the mead. Well,
is it good before we do it?
It's fine. It's not. See, but here's the thing. I'm a really hard critic.
Yeah.
Of wines and meads and the fermented stuff. It's fine. It's mead, but it's not great mead. And I want to make great mead, but I just need to do it more.
You just need some practice.
Michael Jordan didn't start off, when he started playing basketball, he wasn't a dunking it right in the first day. Tiger Woods.
He wasn't a dunking it
He wasn't a dunking it on the first day. Tiger Woods wasn't hitting holes in ones when he was 8 and his dad was kind of cussing at him.
He was pretty good pretty early, though.
He wasn't hitting hole in ones.
I think he was. Maybe you should be making better mead.
Maybe
already.
I should. Maybe
Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team, though. So.
We've got kind of a plan for the next one of what we want to do, but I have a bunch of bottles of mead.
The mead making.
Maybe at Christmas I can just deposit them in people's houses as I go and visit them. And
I think that's a felony.
No. Actually, it's a felony to transport alcohol across state lines.
Yeah, that's a weird law.
It's a weird law, yeah. But then it's like you can't really, that won't hold up in court.
Yeah.
Because then it's like if you like, oh, I bought a bottle of Sky vodka. I wish that we were sponsored by Sky vodka. Let me call it as many products as I can for our
Man, my
listener
Apple
base.
iPhone over here is charging and it just vibrated. And these Vans shoes I have on, man, they're keeping my feet really warm.
What was I saying? So the mead didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
It's fine. It tastes like mead. We'll open some. You can try some.
Yeah.
It's like it tastes like meat. That's the thing.
Well, I'll try it. I'll try it soon. I think that it sounds good.
Yeah. The original thing I was going to say, I went out to eat sushi food and got sake. If you haven't tried sake before and you're like, oh, sake, it's a rice wine and it's made by these like different, it's a whole different like fermenting situation and they're like little worms that eat that like consume the rice and then turn it into, so like what it does is it produces, any alcohol is made like this. An organism eats sugar and it essentially creates alcohol, aka it eats sugar and it poops alcohol. Like that's what the vodka you're having, like it's a microorganism that eats sugar and then it creates alcohol. So like a sweeter wine is more sugar in the wine as opposed to a drier wine is like, oh, we made more. Same thing for your regular spirits that you have. Like yeast is the common one. That's a microorganism that eats sugar. So like if you got like how meat is made is it's just water and honey and yeast and then you let it sit for like 8 weeks and then take the yeast out of it. How do you feel about it? You have such a disgusted little face. What do you think? What are your thoughts? You don't like any of this, do you? No? You're shaking your head no? Well, sorry to ruin that for you. Sake. To my original point, if you're going to go out to a restaurant and you're like, I want to try sake. I don't know if I'll like sake. I'm unsure. Let me tell you. I'm not going to try to sell you on something that's like weird. Something that's like, you're such a snob. You probably would recommend just go and get a plum sake. There's plenty of plum sake out there. Okay. It's sweet. It's like having it's like a little thing of syrup. Like it's like a nice little wine. Yeah. It's got like what do you call it? Like a port kind of situation. It's really good. And you'll look real fancy because they bring it out in the little like triangular little glass, and you pour it into the little shot glass, and you sip on it. Yeah. And then if you're with a bunch of people and you're being rowdy, that's when you can do your sake bomb, and it's all good. I would let you try plum sake. You would like it, and I know you. You would like it.
I trust you. I'm not.
So if you ever want to like impress a date, be like, I would like the plum sake, and she would too. You'd be like, well then,
wow.
And then everybody enjoy it.
I didn't know any of that about alcohol.
Yeah.
I just normally just drink it.
I have textbooks on wine that have like the fancy labels. I'll show you after this. That's in we're in the music office right now. That's in our library.
The library.
In the house.
We'll have to go down the elevator and get on the ladder that rolls down the...
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, so we had a fantastic weekend. Yeah. And you just got to learn so much about...
Just had a whole lesson.
Alcohol. So before we move any further, I really want to... Give the sound effect! Austin, this week, I've got a little different piece of news, and this is unfortunately sad news. This is the first time I've ever covered anything that's particularly sad on the podcast in relation to cryptids and creatures and spooky tooky.
Hit me with it. I'm ready. I'm sitting down.
You're sitting down, okay. This year, in the dead of winter, America's wild reindeer went extinct in the contiguous United States. After years of dwindling, the last remaining herd of caribou known to roam between Canada and the Pacific Northwest states of Idaho and Washington was down to just one known member. In January, wildlife managers in British Columbia captured the female and put her in a pen, where they hoped she would live or have a better shot at survival than alone in the snowy wilderness. It was the right move, said Ray Ince, Director of Wildlife and Terrestrial Resources for the Kalispel tribe in Washington. which has participated in the international effort to conserve the South Selkirk herd, named for the steep mountains it inhabited. That animal was not going to survive, he said. For the foreseeable future, the capture put an end to the Selkirk herd in the wild, which is already what biologists considered functionally extirpated, essentially extinct. The herd was one of the 15 isolated subpopulations of a border group known as the Southern Mountain Caribou, which, as their name indicates, live in a different landscape from the robust northern tundra herds. All 15 are shrinking, mostly because of human development that fatally altered their habitat. Caribou once populated northern New England and upper parts of the Great Lakes states, such as Minnesota, which spawned a coffee chain named for the animal, Caribou Coffee. But their range steadily contracted northward. In 1983, when fewer than 30 members remained, the Selkirk herd was added to the endangered species list. The Selkirk population was up to almost 50 in 2009, but since then it has been going down, says Leo de Groot. Caribou may have been gone from the contiguous United States, but protecting their range could provide a fighting chance for their return, said Andrea Satorise, an attorney for the Center for Biological Diversity. Without habitat protections, the chances of us seeing caribou in the lower 48 states again is pretty slim.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. Lost a reindeer. We don't have any American reindeer.
Christmas is ruined.
Christmas is ruined. This happened in March. I pulled this article today. Surprisingly, looking up Christmas particular current news stuff, it's all like the Idaho Police Department on December 24th, 2018 said they could spot an unidentified flying object in the side. When they last listened to the recording of the object, it said, "A Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And I just didn't feel like reading that story, although I literally just regurgitated it. Particularly for the podcast.
The thing I noticed was that it said that humans kind of imposed upon their territory. So basically, humans suck.
Yeah, humans do suck. When it comes to the environment, we're not very smart.
No, we're just kind of inherently terrible, I think. Happy birthday, Jesus. Sorry your party's lame.
Sorry we killed all your reindeer.
Sorry we killed all the reindeer and ruined Christmas.
That's a big sad. Well,
Ugh.
we got a lot to cover today. That's all I know.
I don't even want to talk about anything now.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. What a downer. Well, good thing that
Why did you do that? Why would you do this to us? Look. Lucas is sad. Look at him.
Yeah, I see him. He's a real sad dog right now. He's looking pretty sad as he's asleep on the floor, looking extra cute. He heard us talking about us. Well,
you want to talk? I can't even look at you right now.
I'll note that for later. That it's like can't bring any sad news onto the show.
No, why would you do that?
I'm sorry.
I want to hear about an alien sighting or something, not about my pals.
Well, now, aren't caribou cryptids?
Extinct.
That's the whole point.
No,
the American reindeer is not a cryptid? Nah.
I used to see them things all the time.
I used to.
We used to
You
hunt
see
them.
the 50 of them back in 2009?
We used to hunt them back in 86, man. That was a hell of a winter. Me and JR, Skeeter, Bobby, Billy, PW, PJ, BJ, CJ, and DJ. We used to all go up there. Just hunt them things all the time, dude. I got 4 sets of antlers on my living room wall right now. I swear to God, I do. You're bigger than you've ever even seen, buddy. It is colder than a witch's tit up there.
Any more localisms?
Man, I'm full of them, dude. It was, man, I'm telling you, though, it was slick up there, man. It's tougher than a $2 steak to get your footing anywhere you went.
Oh.
Them things are coming at you left and right, and you're just shooting, just pow, pow, pow. We got them, though. Yep, we got him. Tucker fell through the ice, though. We had to save him and take him to the hospital, but they patched him up pretty quick. But that was the only mishap of that year, at least. You should have been there, man. I think you were at church camp or something like that. That year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was having some conversation, just sharing. As you may know, we always need to share a word with our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Sebastian Azar, and I'm inviting you to the Hidden Pixels podcast, a show exploring those gaming stories you might have missed on your first playthrough. Whether it's a side character's dark past or a small event that changed the entire fictional universe, we want to explore with gamers and story lovers alike. So join us every 2 weeks for the Hidden Pixels podcast. And if you like what you heard, subscribe and leave us a review. We appreciate all of your feedback, and we can't wait to share these stories with you. Thanks.
Austin, this week. Austin. That's what. How do you think? What do you think Santa sounds like? What's your like idealized like accent? Is he like English or is he like what's the situation?
That's tough. I like to picture him sort of like what we spoke earlier, but I like to picture him as Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
The voice that he has.
I just did a pretty good impression,
but
of
not his like Saw Gerrera one. Like Forrest Whitaker's like he's got sort of like a New York-ish accent in some of his movies I've seen. Like that voice.
That voice, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he sounds.
I like that a lot. Either that or I could see him as like Morgan Freeman. I could see Morgan Freeman being Santa Claus.
Morgan Freeman could like do, but Morgan Freeman sounds like this when he talks.
He's God.
When he tells everybody what's going down.
Morgan Freeman.
In the beginning, there was a black hole.
Morgan Freeman's just a fascinating guy in general, but I could see him being Santa Claus. Honestly, even Tom Hanks' Santa Claus wasn't bad.
Tom Hanks is anything. Yeah. Tom Hanks could be
we share a birthday.
Do you share a birthday with Tom Hanks?
July 9th, dude.
Great day.
Great day.
Now people know. Now everyone knows. Wish you happy birthday.
Now you know.
Well, the reason I'm talking about Santa Claus today is we're going to talk about
It's Christmas.
Christmas time.
Christmas.
What do you think about that Paul McCartney song, the one with all the little things?
That's my favorite Christmas song.
It is your favorite Christmas song?
The bum 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 bum. Yeah. Yeah, that's
right.
It's like top 5 Christmas songs.
I don't know about that.
It's so good.
Except when he gets into the really heavy synth and it's like bang dum bang dum dum bang dum dum bang dum dum bang.
Dude, that whole song is a masterpiece. That's a great one.
We've been enjoying a new one this year that we've not heard before, and it's an earworm called The Happiest Christmas Tree. And it's I'm the happiest Christmas tree. Oh, oh, oh.
Oh, you never heard that before?
No, I've never heard that one in my entire life, and I heard it this year. And me and my wife are singing it constantly, including we've heard this one before, but it's been the All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth, but sung by an adult male. I cannot do the children singing.
The kid one is so annoying.
Oh
with,
my
like,
gosh.
The whistle. And I'm a big Burl Ives.
We've been
Holly
listening
Jolly Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
That's just classic. And
That's a good
then
one.
Jingle Bell Rock, obviously, is a big one. But then the Paul McCartney one. I'm
You a big Christmas shoes fan?
I see. Like, so here's my thing. Other than the Paul McCartney one, I like the classic Christmas songs.
We watch White Christmas generally every year. We're big into the whole classic Christmas music.
I'm big into that, and I don't know. I mean, I just love Christmas music. It's a fun time. I like the classics though because it takes me back to when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and that sounds
I think that's
like
the same for everybody.
And like, even though we were kids in the '90s, what I'm getting at is, we would go on Christmas Eve. I would have Christmas Eve at Dixie's at my Nana's house, but it was in McDowell County, which was down, an hour down a 2-lane road in the middle of nowhere. She doesn't live there anymore, but it was from there. And then I would go to Bluefield, and I would stay with my mom's side of the family and have Christmas Day with them. But Christmas Eve was with my dad's side of the family. And every year I would fall asleep on that drive on Christmas Eve to Bluefield. I would fall asleep in the car, and my dad would always have on the like one of their local radio stations. And on Christmas Eve, they would always just be playing the classic Christmas songs. So like every time I hear these classic Christmas songs, I think about being in and out of sleep, looking out the window for Santa, listening to like "Have Yourself a-" like the classics though. That was like every year. And so I don't know. At like work, we've put on the speaker like some of the new Christmas songs, and I'm like, this just isn't good.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't bad.
Yeah.
But nothing beats the originals to me.
You're not like a Mariah Carey.
Nah, all I want for that is an American classic anthem. I don't care if it was made in like the 2000s.
I'm not a big Mariah Carey fan. I feel like she does too much with
that song. Is really the only Mariah Carey song I like. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
My opinion doesn't matter, but
that's how she sounds in my brain.
Well,
sorry, Nick Cannon. You're getting a lot of crap right now. Oh wait, you're not married to her anymore.
this stems from her though.
That's true.
The beef.
That's true. Well, we're here to talk to you about not Eminem or Nick Cannon or Mariah Carey. We're here to talk to you about weird Christmas creatures. And we got a doozy,
frickin' doozy
of an episode here for you. So,
doozy.
I've tasked you with looking up a particular.
Yeah. Let's just get in. I just want to get into this because it's just.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about Krampus, which is like I think the Christmas cryptid that everyone typically knows. Like most people have heard of Krampus.
Pop culture celebrity. Yeah.
Yeah. But like it's just the more I started thinking about it as I was looking things up about it, it's really messed up. Like it's basically satanic.
Yeah.
It's very satanic. And the more I read about it, I was like, like I said earlier, we as humans are just inherently awful, I think. And I get the reasoning behind Krampus, but I'll get into that in a minute. So I had just sort of saved a few articles that I had looked at today. I guess if you don't know what Krampus is, it's like it's a horned anthropomorphic. That was a word that I learned today.
You didn't know what anthropomorphic?
I mean, I did, but I hadn't never actually used it in a sentence. So I normally just said like, oh, it has human-like traits. I never said, oh, it's I can't even pronounce it. Anthropomorphic.
See, this is why I have the card.
Yeah.
That certifies me. You need to work on that.
If
you had your card, you would know.
You also can't pronounce Courier Street, so it's like...
Are you talking about Courier Street?
Okay, yeah. But he is a half goat, half demon. And around Christmas time, he punishes children who have misbehaved. So it's like in America, it's Santa Claus either brings you gifts or he brings you coal, and that is really it. It's like you're naughty or you're nice. You get a gift or you get coal.
Right.
In Europe, you get drowned, eaten, sent to hell, something terrible, or you get coal. So it's like based on severity of how terrible you were that year. These parents are telling their children that they are going to be dragged to the depths of hell in the middle of the night. And my favorite part was that it was like apparently happens on like December 5th. And so Krampus is like Santa's pal. He's like the yin to Santa's yang. Like they're like
it's like Joker and Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
but they're like there's no like it's not like they're like enemies. They just go together.
Right.
But they're opposites. And they say that, Santa goes around for the good kids, Krampus goes around for the bad kids. So I just imagine them like walking into the same house. And like knocking on the door, and there's like two kids that share a room, and like one of them is getting gifts, and
Good
Krampus,
cop, bad cop.
Krampus is like with one hand like has the other kid pinned up against the wall, strangling it, like just dragging it down to the depths of hell, while the other one's like going crazy over a scooter or something. Like, that's what I picture. And basically, I guess Austria, Bavaria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Italy. Slovakia, Slovenia, a few other countries, like they all have this fascination, this like that is their thing. Krampus is part of their tradition,
Right.
and it is like a big deal. Like everyone there knows what Krampus is from an early age. And I mean, clearly Krampus was created as a way to like make the kids behave.
Right.
Just a little more severity to theirs than us. Like, oh, you're gonna get coal, you won't get that Nintendo. Like
Right.
there, it's like you're gonna be horribly mangled and murdered and you'll
yeah.
never see your family again. You're gonna be in hell.
Yes.
I don't know. It just, the more I thought about it, it's terrible.
Yeah, and it's a lot of like, and it's like a lot of these cryptids and stories, not just in Christmas, are all like to teach kids not to do certain things. Like,
Yeah.
please do not go wander the farm at night, or else the chupacabra will get you.
Yeah.
Okay, just please. There's wolves out there.
Yeah.
and you might
But
get
you have
hurt.
to like be more severe with it.
Right,
Well, it's
but you're like, there's a blood sucking, goat killing, clawed beast that
Yeah.
will get you. Like,
misbehaved kids are also said to be beaten with branches, or they can just disappear entirely. No one knows what happens to them. Or they are stuffed into his sack and hauled to his lair to be tortured or eaten. So there's a lot of possibilities with Krampus. Like it's depending. It's probably like, did he have a good day that day? Like what was he dealing with? Like is
Right.
he in the right mental space? For
is he in the
this?
right mental space? Yeah.
And it's like, what was in the office? Impish or admirable? Like,
Yeah.
that is it. The Krampus
Well,
is
all
just
of
terrifying.
Krampus is kind of the most well known, but a lot of, including, which I'll talk about, Bel Schnickel.
Yeah, Bel Schnickel.
Yeah, are like iterations on that same idea.
Yeah.
That these kids, you've been bad, and you will now receive a penance.
Yeah.
For being bad.
Yeah, but like Krampus, the thing about it was like it didn't just originate for Christmas. Like that's not where it came
Right,
from.
right.
Was that it went back to like pre-Germanic paganism, within those regions that he's popular. And the name Krampus it's derived from the German word Krampen, which means claw,
Like you're cramping my style.
or like claw and order, baby. Like you're drinking some White Claws. I enjoy a nice White Claw.
I do too.
They're not terrible.
I'm gonna have one tonight.
They get a really bad rep, I feel like.
oh well,
It's
I
like-
drink the Truly.
Trulies are good too.
Truly.
Fun fact, side note, the Natty Light seltzers, I broke down and on a game day one time for it. Just stick with me. Stick with me.
All right, I'm
It
here.
was game day, Marshall. I'd never tried one this year, and one of my friends had one at the
Yeah.
tailgate, and I tried it. It was delicious. And I know Natty Light, whatever, dude. They were better than the White Claws,
Okay.
and they're cheaper and they're better. Now I will say this:
Oh, glasses are off.
the glasses just came out. I wasn't feeling great the next day, but they were
Glasses
delicious.
on.
Glasses on. But okay, Krampus, Claw. But the tradition was that he was the son of the Norse god of the underworld. And like that made me think, like, I feel like a lot of these cryptids and a lot of origins of different creatures have to do with either like Norse or Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have something to do with hell.
Yeah.
And it seems the biggest thing that it reminded me of overall was Sheepsquatch. And like the
Yeah.
half man, half something
Yeah.
with horns and like a disfigured kind of weird body and hooves.
I could see that.
And it seems like goats, sheep, things like that are always associated with like paganism or like just some sort of like satanic worship or like different things like that.
Hell is more like descriptions of hell you can be a lot more colorful with it than it's like describing something so great can be boring.
Yeah.
But describing something horrible, literally watch any horror movie it's like everyone's personal hell's up on a screen.
Yeah. So Krampus is just like there are festivals now for it though, because there was one point.
I saw a festival, a GIF
Yeah.
of somebody like Krampus was chasing everyone through the streets.
terrifying.
And it was this dude with big like fur legs on, and
Yeah.
he painted his chest red and wore a goat's head, and he had a bunch of like it looked like a whip of some sort, and he was just like beating people as they came into contact with him. It was like running the bulls, but
with a guy dressed as a demon.
yeah.
In 1932, though, in Austria, the Dollfuss regime came into power, and they were big with like the Christian Social Party, and they banned the idea of Krampus for a while. And then in the 50s, they distributed the government distributed pamphlets that just said Krampus is an evil man. So they were trying to like banish any idea of like Krampus being part of this Christmas tradition.
Listen, I'm not having this for this like 50s like fascism going on here about Krampus. I will not stand.
Well, so in 2019 though, what's hilarious is like this has just become such a thing over there now with festivals and like we just said. But there were several people in several different Austrian towns that were arrested dressed as Krampus because of disorderly conduct during the festivals. So it's like just all
Krampus
of
can't
these,
be out there doing this stuff. Nonsense.
So, and then apparently in Bavaria, there's a lot of kind of tradition coming back with Krampus. A lot of like wooden masks, kind of like Fastnacht. With like the masks, people get around together, and they all wear like these Krampus masks. So it's cool that like it's such a terrifying history, but people have embraced that, and they know it's creepy, and they know it's weird, but it's sort of become this just like
a tradition.
This is weird, but we like it. Like
and it's a part. It's like their culture. It's like okay, Santa is a thing across everywhere,
and I'm sure like families there probably still. They'll like recognize Santa, this and that, the other.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I think Krampus has just become like, I'm sure some people still tell their kids it's a thing, but it's more so just like such a cultural icon at this point throughout the years that it's just, they recognize it, but they'll still have like Santa came down the chimney and brought you gifts, but like this is separate. So it's kind of neat. And the fact that it was Norse mythology and it was sort of adopted into this just, European culture is kind of neat. So I thought that was interesting that it was actually dated far back before Christmas was even a thing. So that is Krampus. Terrifying, but cool. Sheepsquatch-esque.
Adam Scott in the movie. The seminal film. Krampus. I think it's on Netflix right now.
I need to watch that. I
haven't watched it either.
I remember seeing
something,
everything about it, and I never.
Yeah, I like Adam Scott.
I like Adam Scott.
I think he's a cute little dork.
So let's hear about all of the weird things that you discovered.
So Krampus is probably the best known, second to Bel Schnickel, which
Bel Schnickel.
I will start with Bel Schnickel. Just be aware. I'm going to butcher a lot of European names here.
I would expect nothing less.
It's just going to happen. If I screw it up, you can write to me. I will read it and I'll think, okay, that's how you say it, and I probably won't respond. Sorry. We'll start with Bel Schnickel just because it's so similar to Krampus. In some German and Pennsylvania Dutch communities, Bel Schnickel shows up a couple of weeks before Christmas, filthy, dressed in rags and furs to beat the children who have misbehaved. As an 1872 Philadelphia newspaper recounted, Mr. Bel Schnickel makes his personal appearance dressed in skins or old clothes, his black face, a bell, a whip, and a pocket full of cakes or nuts, and either the cakes or the whip are bestowed upon those around. Back in the 19th century, it was popular for rowdy revelers to go Bel Schnickeling, like these Krampus people are doing, and get drunk, vandalize the city, and play pranks. Now, where does this come from, would you say? There's a character named, not a character, he's a person named Pierre Fotard in legend. Made his first appearance in 1150, the fantastic year.
Great year.
Yeah, 1150. Who could forget 1150? When he and his wife were lured into, this Peter Fotard. He and his wife lured a trio of young boys into their butcher shop so they could rob them. Fotard slit their throats and butchered the children, placing their remains in a barrel. When St. Nicholas discovered the crime, he resurrected the boys and punished Fotard by forcing the butcher into his eternal service. Now this villain appears alongside St. Nicholas and dispenses coal and floggings to those who deserve them.
It's just like, why is Santa Claus, like, why does he, like, who gave him all this power?
He has a lot of power. He's like, I'm going to make my anti-hero friend.
Just let people live. Like, you don't have to send them to the depths of hell because they weren't good boys. Like, golly, you don't have to, like, whip them, and that's just Santa Claus is kind of low key, like a
He's like-
douchebag.
He seems very magical. He's like an adventuring hero. He's like Hercules, like where he's like half man, half god kind of situation.
Yeah.
He's like it's like mythological being.
He is. I don't even know.
I don't know. Whatever I think about Bel Schnickel, I think about The Office, and I think, cheer or fear, Bel Schnickel is here.
Schnickel is here.
Have you been impish or admirable?
I kind of want to get a sweater for Christmas that just says impish or admirable. Those are good. I might just make one.
I want like a face of Dwight Schrute with the hat on and says cheer or fear.
Well, so the Bel Schnickel, I love that. See, now I will be honest, I never did my research when I watched The Office.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a real thing.
Yeah, the Bel
I thought
Schnickel?
that they just made
Made it
this
up?
like
No.
fake thing up for
Well,
Dwight.
they don't. They because that's Dwight's thing. Is it's like Pennsylvania German family. You know what he is from? Pennsylvania German family.
Yeah.
What do they want? What do they farm? Turnips or
Schrute
Farms?
they,
Beets.
Beets, yeah.
Yeah, Beets, Bears, Battlestar
Battlestar
Galactica.
Galactica,
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing is just like the Schrute family is great. The
They're
episode
fantastic.
where like they're
and
burying
Mose. Oh man, Mose is so funny.
Moses runs funny, but when they're burying the lady and like all of them just step up and say a fact.
Yeah.
He's like, "You had the largest plot of land in the county," and they just like
Step
stands
away.
back. And he's like, the guy pulls up in the truck. He's like, "Anybody mentioned the land yet?" Yeah. All right. Well, and he like says something else and drives away. But no, like that was. Hearing you just tell me that though, I'm like, oh, so there was a lot of truth and
it's very
to
similar in I guess worlds to Krampus. Same like anti-hero, friends with Santa.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna be punished.
All right, so we've done Bel Schnickel,
The Bel Schnickel.
the Bel Schnickel,
The Bel Schnickel.
and I've got some other interesting little animals here. First, which I know I'm going to butcher the name, Mary Lude, the Christmas zombie horse.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You have my attention.
Yes.
I was kind of like, okay.
Okay,
Then I
yeah.
heard zombie horse. All right.
Yeah. Around Christmas and New Year's Eve, Welsh families might find themselves challenged by a decorated horse or similar animal, skull waiting for them on their doorstep, adorned with colorful ribbons and bells. The equine image of death has especially ghostly appearance thanks to the white sheep drape over the person carrying it. As revelers sing and parade this head on a stick around the neighborhood, doors open to meet the morbid white horse in battle, specifically a battle of wits. Through poetry. This Mary Lude, a midwinter pagan tradition whereby celebrants earn food and drink only after dominating a poetry slam fronted by a skeletal face. Despite often being associated with Christmas, Mary Lude is a pre-Christian practice. In fact, some Welsh regions choose to parade their horse skulls to the town for other holidays such as Halloween or May Day. Though the tradition's exact origins are murky, the image of a white horse has been a powerful symbol in the United Kingdom for at least 3,000 years. The practice also incorporates the centuries-old tradition of wassailing, from the Middle English wassail, or be in health. Wassail was originally a sugar and spice drink of mulled ale, curdled cream, roasted apples, and eggs. Those who partook in sharing a huge bowl of this boozy mixture were wassailing. The term evolved to describe the custom of begging for booze around Christmas, a time when poor merrymakers expected generosities that would usually be denied. They'd arrive at the doorstep of wealthier neighbors and ask to drink from the wassailing bowl or have their own bowl filled.
I feel like I just listened to a commentary from some guy that did a 48-hour acid trip at Joshua Tree and like just got home and like, but he wrote out all of his thoughts the whole time he was there. None of that made any sense to me. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you anything you just told me just now.
So let me get it like real dumbed down. Tradition is everybody puts a horse skull on a stick. They put a sheet underneath it, and they go to people's houses and they challenge them to a rap battle.
All right. Wow.
And if you're like have listened to like old English hymns, it's one of the carols is "Here They Come a Wassailing," which is if you've I've always been curious about what a wassailing is. I thought it was just like a thing, but you can look it up. "Here They Come a Wassailing," which is WASSAILING.
You said ASS.
I did say ASS.
Yeah, that was way more underwhelming than I imagined when you said zombie horse.
I don't know.
I just see.
How do you feel about like Christmas poetry slams? How do you feel about
big on
like
poetry
drinking some
slams, I
spiced
guess.
rum?
I do that all the time, anyways.
Drink spiced rum and have challenged your neighbors to poetry slams while wearing a ghostly outfit of a horse.
Yeah, me and Robert every friggin' Wednesday,
every
I get home from this and I literally like that's why 7:32 like I got to get back after this because Robert's probably freaking sitting at my doorstep right now waiting on me so we can do that. You know,
That's true.
Shoot, I forgot my
this
horse
clock,
head.
by the way, is an hour ahead because we don't do daylight savings time here because of the incident.
Well, then Robert will be okay.
Yeah,
I
Robert.
gotta
would
go
be
get
fine.
my horse head before I come outside.
Let's see here. Have you heard of La Befana or Babushka? Which is
Heard of the babushka?
Babushka. So in Italy, Russia, and parts of Eastern Europe, we encounter a witch-like lady rooted in fairy tale figure of Mother Holly, who doles out punishment for lazy and riches for the hardworking. In Italy, she is known as La Befana, and in Russia, Babushka. Each
babushka.
Babushka. It's fun.
Gabagool.
That's a really fun word to say.
Gabagool.
Everyone take a minute and just say babushka to yourself. Each January, she packs up and sets off on a broomstick to join the three kings who were seeking the Christ child. She searches every house, and if she finds a child there, she leaves cookies and gifts behind. So this is related to, on New Year's Eve, Perchta, who's another name for this, roams the earth rewarding those who are hardworking and generous and punishing the idle and greedy. Her punishment and choice involves slashing open your stomach so she may violently rip out your intestines, which are then replaced by straws, rocks, and garbage. The tradition of having goose for Christmas is sometimes linked to witches like Perchta, who is often depicted as having a goose foot, along with the belief that goose fat enabled witches to fly.
That escalated so fast.
It is all fun and games.
I was like, wow, this is like a wholesome.
Yeah, wholesome.
Wow.
You don't like Christmas anymore, do you?
I don't like Christmas anymore.
So she had demonic helpers, which I will get to another creature that has demonic helpers as well here later on in the show. I want to talk to you about a more wholesome one, though. Are you ready for like wholesomeness?
Yeah, I've been ready. Ever since you told me about those friggin' reindeer dying, I've been waiting on wholesome.
I want to talk to you about the tomten. So the tomten is an essential part of Scandinavian folklore. He's a little gnome of sorts. Dedicated,
Of sorts? What does of sorts
Little
mean?
gnome of sorts, you'll find out. Dedicated to one home or farm. Looking out for the farm animals and children of the place. Pattering about by night, unseen, to check on everyone's welfare. Victor Rydberg, one of Sweden's pre-1900 famous writers, wrote a classic poem, Tomten, about the lonely nighttime wanderings, inspections, and reflections of one Tomten on a cold winter's night, which has become a favorite Christmas piece. Astrid Lindgren, the author of Pippi Longstockings, adapted the poem in 1960. It's quite a tale, with no grand story arc and actually no mention of Christmas at all, but simply a peeping into this mysterious gnome, watching him go about his business, eavesdropping on his whisperings. A series of circumstances have linked Tomtens inextricably with Christmas in Sweden, thus this has become a Christmas tale. In older folklore, he acts as a caretaker, protector, and helper of the household. That is, if you don't anger him. The Tomten has quite a temper and is known for driving people insane with his tricks or biting them. The bites, being poisonous, are typically lead to death. You would be well advised to leave a gift or food out on Christmas Eve for this fellow. How do you feel about little Tomten?
I mean, nobody died.
From Tomten? No, Tomten's a ethereal thing. He's so wonderful.
I love how you're talking about him like he's like.
Oh, well, it's like
Tomten,
while
yeah.
you sleep, there's a little gnome, and he just
I don't want
takes care of
anybody
your
in my
animals.
house when I'm asleep, though.
He's on the farm. He's just making sure the animals are safe, and he goes back
Pay
to
rent?
No, he don't mess with him though. He'll bite you. It's poisonous.
I dare him.
So I've been saving this one. Austin, reading about this has changed my perception of Christmas. It's made me want to recreate Christmas in this way.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's involving a cryptid set of cryptids, and I wouldn't have found this if it wasn't for one of our listeners on our Discord. Fire and Gasoline sent in something about the Yule Cat, which is involved in this, but it expanded this world unto me of Christmas lore that I was not aware of.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to you first about Grilla.
Okay.
While Krampus may be the king of holiday scares, his fans may be overlooking an equally nasty, much more formidable queen, a Christmas monster who lives further north in the frigid climes of Iceland, who goes by the name of Grilla, the Christmas witch. This tough ogress lives in a cave in Iceland's hinterlands, the matriarch of a family of strange creatures, launching attacks on nearby townships, snatching up misbehaving children, and turning them into a delicious stew. Tales of the Ogress began as oral accounts, with the earliest written reference found in the 13th century in historic sagas and poems throughout the region. One reads, "Here comes Grilla down to the field, with 15 tails on her," while another describes, "Down comes Grilla from the outer fields, with 40 tails, a bag on her back, a sword knife in her hand, coming to carve out the stomachs of the children who cry for meat during Lent." Don't cry for meat during Lent.
Stop attacking children. God.
In Iceland, the midwinter holiday known as Jol, a version of the Old English and Old Germanic word Yule, which describes this time of gathering together, feasting and celebrating, and which evolved into modern Christmas, is generally darker than in the U.S., and not just because the sun barely comes out during the winter, like in Iceland. It's dark, cold. According to Gunnell, the earliest celebrations of the season were viewed as a time not only to bring together relatives living and deceased, but also elves, trolls, and other magical and spooky creatures believed to inhabit the landscape. Sometimes these figures would visit in the flesh, as masked figures going around to farms and houses during the season. Grilla, whose name translates loosely into growler, would be among these, showing up with horned tail and a bag into which she would toss naughty children. Yes, 9 children. That's it. I thought there was another page. That's it for Grilla.
I'm tired of children getting killed.
The injustice in this world.
The
children.
injustice is just... Our silence is deafening on this subject. On this epidemic.
Grilla had the straggles, and they were like little demons that followed her around, and they were like her little helpers, like her little elves. It's the equivalent, like the Christmas witch had demonic elves that helped her. Now, I told you that Grilla had other creatures in her band of merry people. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I teased the Yule Cat as a thing, but hold up, Austin, hold. This is what I've been waiting for. This is something I had hoped.
It's the culmination of everything.
The Yule Lads.
The Yule Lads.
The Yule Lads are 13 gnomes that are Grilla's children.
The lads.
And they accompany Grilla into the villages when she goes, and they each have a day that they go and do something. So, Icelandic children place a shoe in their bedroom window each evening in the 13 days before Christmas, which is, for them, it's December 23rd through, I think, January 2nd, I think. Every night, one Yuletide lad visits, leaving sweets and small gifts or rotting potatoes, depending on how that particular child has behaved on the preceding day. Each Yuletide lad has a specific idiosyncrasy and will therefore behave in a particular manner. This is starting to sound like Elf on a Shelf because it is. Are you ready to hear about these 13 lads? I will give them each of their little idiosyncrasies to you now.
Sure.
The sheepcoat clod. He tries to suckle ewes in the farmer's sheep sheds. The gooliegauk. He steals foam from buckets of cow milk. Stubby. He's short and steals food from the frying pans. Spoon licker. He licks spoons.
I couldn't have seen that one coming.
Pot scraper, a.k.a. pot licker. He steals unwashed pots and licks them clean.
Wow.
Bowl licker.
I wonder what bowl licker does. Please tell me.
He steals bowls of food from under the bed. Back in the old days, isolators used to sometimes store food bowls there, convenient for midnight snacking. Now here's the next one. Door slammer.
Please tell me what they do.
He stomps around and slams doors, keeping everyone awake.
Wow. I just kick him out. Just pick him up. He can't be that big.
Skyr gobbler. He eats up all of the Icelandic yogurt, also known as skyr.
Skeeter? Mm-hmm. My cousin Skeeter?
Here comes one. Here comes one. You ready for this one? Sausage swiper.
Hold up now. Please elaborate.
He loves stolen sausages.
That's weird.
Window peeper.
I feel like those two go together.
I think they do. I think maybe window peeper should come before sausage swiper. He likes to creep outside windows and sometimes steal the stuff he sees inside. Here comes the next one. Door sniffer. He has a huge nose and an insatiable appetite for stolen baked goods.
Oh boy.
Meat hook. He snatches up any meat left out, especially smoked lamb. Oh. And the last one, candle beggar. He steals candles, which used to be sought after items in Iceland.
What a crew.
So every day, this is Elf on the Shelf. This is where this came from.
Yeah.
This is where they leave out a shoe for the particular Yule lad that comes, and every night they like, all the pots are clean, or somebody ate the sausage, or did you hear that door slam last night? This is a tradition, Austin, that should continue. This should be a part of Christmas. This should be like, children everywhere should rejoice in the Yule lads.
Imagine getting a rotten potato in your shoe, though.
Oh, wouldn't that be so funny, though? Imagine you're like a family and you go to middle school or like you go to elementary school and you participate with the Yule Lad tradition. And the kids are like, oh, yeah, we love Santa Claus. Yeah, do you have to leave a shoe out by your window? And the other kids are like, no. It's like, well, sometimes they leave rotting potatoes in the shoes.
Shoe smells musty all day at school. Everybody's like, what's that smell? Oh, just the Yule Lad. He paid me a visit.
I love all their names. And a fun fact, these names are their official names.
Yeah.
Because their original names are lost to the annals of history.
Probably for the best.
So these are all of Grilla's children that come. And what do you think? Who's your favorite here? Is it Sausage Swiper, Window Peeper?
I think Sausage Swiper was my favorite.
I like Door Slammer.
Yeah.
Because you're just slamming doors.
Yeah. Sausage
The one who eats all the yogurt is good.
Yeah.
But in bowl liquor, I like the really self-explanatory ones. It's like,
I just thought Sausage Swiper was funny.
It's just a fun little alliteration.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a dirty joke. Hoi.
Oh, I didn't even take it that way. I was gonna say, sometimes I swipe my sausage occasionally.
I swipe my sausage.
I like to, you cook it up.
Sometimes
real well.
I'm a window peeper.
Yeah.
Oftentimes,
cook up the sausage really well.
Oftentimes, I'm a door sniffer.
Just swipe the what out of it,
Goodness.
Just right out of the skillet onto the plate. Good with some eggs.
I'm constantly a spoon licker.
Yeah.
And it's like anytime I make anything, I'm licking that spoon. You know I do that. So Grilla has the Straggles. She has the Yule Lads.
Yeah.
The last thing she has, which is what started all this, is the Yule Cat.
Yeah.
Is the pet of both Grilla and the Yule Lads. The Yule Cat's prey consists both of children and adults. Unlike other Christmas monsters, this cat does not care about your misdeeds during the year. The only insurance against being torn apart and eaten by this giant feline is receiving an article of new clothing for Christmas. Shop wisely. The idea is that families gift each other new and warm clothes for the winter and make the Yule Cat an offering of some warm winter gear. If not, the Yule Cat will gobble you up like something fishy or treat-like.
I wish a Yule Cat would try me. I'm built different.
You're built different. This is a gigantic cat. I mean, it's like larger than a lion.
6'2".
This isn't. We're not fighting third graders again, Austin.
I'm 6, bro. You don't think I've been training my whole life for a damn Yule Cat to come up on me and try something? I'm from the holler, dude.
So our listener sent this in and then sent in a poem, in which I will now read a poem.
We're just all about poetry tonight.
It's like poetry slam, poem about this Yule Cat. This is called The Yule Cat by Johannes Koltrum. You all know the Yule Cat. Excuse me. Let me do
Yule
this.
Cat.
Let me do this one more time. You all know the Yule Cat, and that cat was huge indeed. By the way, I want to read this poem to my children.
Just
the
read the poem.
I want to read
the
it.
poem.
I'm just telling you.
Read the poem.
You all know the Yule Cat, and that cat was huge indeed. People didn't know where he came from or where he went. He opened his glaring eyes wide, the two of them glowing bright. It looked really brave, man. Took straight into them. His whiskers sharp as bristles, his back arched up high, and the claws of his hairy paws were a terrible sight. He gave a wave of his strong tail. He jumped and chewed and he hissed, sometimes up in the valley, sometimes down by the shore. He roamed at large, hungry, and evil in the freezing Yule snow. In every home, people shuddered at his name. If one heard a pitiful meow, something evil would happen soon. Everybody knew he hunted them, but didn't care for mice. He picked on the very poor that no new garments got. For Yule who toiled and lived in dire need. From them he took in one fell swoop their whole Yule dinner, always eating it himself, if he possibly could. Hence it was that the women, at their spinning wheels, sat spinning a colorful thread for a frock or a little sock, because you mustn't let the cat get hold of the little children. They had to get something new to wear from grown-ups each year. And when the lights came on Yule Eve and the cat peered in, the little children stood rosy and proud, all dressed up in their new clothes. Some had gotten an apron, some had gotten shoes, or something that was needed. That was all it took. For all who got something new to wear stayed out of that pussycat's grasp. He then gave an awful hiss, but went on his way. Whether he still exists, I don't know, but his visit would be in vain. If next time everybody got something new to wear, now you might be thinking of helping where help isn't needed most. Perhaps you'll find some children. They have nothing at all. Perhaps searching for those that live in the lightness world will give you a happy day and a merry, merry Yule for all.
I'm going to be honest with you. That was garbage.
But this poem?
That was terrible.
It didn't rhyme.
That was the worst poem I've ever heard in my life.
Well, it's like, you better watch out. Cause
Did one of our listeners write that?
No.
Okay. I was about to tell. I was about to roast.
No, this is Johannes Koltrum.
I was about to roast the hell out of whoever wrote that.
Nah.
That was real bad. That was real. That was real bad.
Let me tell you something. You're just trying to.
That was real bad.
What are you, like an English major?
I mean, perhaps I was.
Perhaps you was.
I did study Victorian poetry for 2-3 years.
Well, this is Icelandic poetry.
Icelandic poetry can go to hell. That was terrible.
It's probably just a bad translation. It
That
probably makes more sense in
At some point, there it
Icelandic.
rhymed. It's been that was yeah. I don't know. That was,
by the way, it didn't rhyme at the end. I just added in the Happy Yule for all, so that it rhymed at the end.
Happy Yule for all. Yeah, that was. I'm gonna give that like a 1.3 out of 10. I don't care the translation. I think that whoever wrote that should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, now you know the story.
Unfortunately, I
So-
think that's my least favorite poem I've ever heard.
So by the Yule Cat,
Hold on, I'm not done. That poem sucked. I want to emphasize how much I want whoever wrote that poem. I want to fight them or something. I need explanation. I need an explanation for why that was so bad.
You'll have to go to talk to Johannes.
What year was that written?
I don't know. You think we do our research here? You think we have all the when I started this podcast, when we started podcasting, I was like, I'm going to make it like a college essay and have references for everything and have all this different stuff and like make it like, because we're so like structured and beautiful and what have you. And guess what? None of that carried past maybe episode 3.
I didn't even make it to episode 3. I made it about halfway through 1, and I was just
like, I'm done.
making up the rest.
I'm good.
Plot twist. We've made up everything we've ever talked about.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I have. I'm just kidding. I haven't
Everything
made up
you said.
Not
has been-
everything.
everything we've said has been a lie.
Not every single thing.
Well,
Not all of it, but some of it.
I'm just, this lady, this Grilla lady, she has a cast.
She's like Coney, but with Christmas. Remember Stop Coney?
Oh, yeah.
Coney
Yeah,
2012.
like Coney 2012. Yeah.
We need bracelets for how do you pronounce her name?
Grilla.
Grilla?
Yeah, Gryla.
Yeah, we need like Stop Grilla 2019 bracelets.
I don't know. But like the Yule Lads, they're so delightful. Her children are just
The
like,
lads.
you know.
They just go down to the pint or to the pub
lads,
for
you know.
a pint.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, it's Sausage Swiper. Do you need a beer?
Yeah.
Oh, Window Peeper.
Anytime I think lads, I think, oh yeah, the lads are going to the pub.
Yeah, because there's a lot of lads that go to the pub around here. Is that what you're saying?
No, I just think it's a very British
A very British
thing
thing.
to say. Come on, lads. Whenever I think of soccer, I think the word lads.
Lads.
Come on, you Spurs.
I think of I think of the 12 Days of Christmas and Lords of Leaping when I think of lads right now in this moment.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
Just a British song, right? No.
British, so yeah, maybe.
Feels very British. Maids milking. It's very European, medieval European. Swans a swimming. Geese a laying. Like, who's getting all these things?
Yeah,
It's not us.
I would like it.
Lords of Leaping?
Yeah.
12 or however many. I don't know. It's my least favorite
The
Christmas
limit does
song
not
because, let me
exist.
tell you, it's my least favorite Christmas song because it goes on.
Is it your least favorite Christmas song?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Except for the hippopotamus song. Actually, I
Yeah.
could stand the hippopotamus song over the 12 Days of Christmas. 12 Days of Christmas, it's like you know how it ends. Everyone knows.
They're both pretty. Yeah, they're both pretty terrible songs.
Like the hippopotamus song, at least you only have to hear the same thing 3 times.
That song's garbage.
It is garbage, but it has an end.
That's true.
Verses and choruses, and then it's done.
Yeah, that's true. This is very true.
So, what are some of your like favorite little Christmas memories and just Christmas feels? Because this is the Christmas episode. Now that we've done talking about how we're gonna like tear out the stomach of children and intestines and fill them with straw and whip them with a stick and drag them to hell and
Favorite Christmas.
swipe their sausage.
So every year, I always, no matter what, my mom always gets me the candy cane filled with Hershey Kisses. That's like the
Oh, that's
Christmas
good.
tradition in my household.
Uh-huh.
But I remember one year, I was in middle school and I wanted a pair of Etnies skateboard shoes.
Oh,
This was when I was getting into skateboarding. I wanted this pair of Etnies. They had green laces. They were black. They were so cool, and I wanted them. And I had like picked them out, and my mom was like, "Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get you those. They're too expensive." Blah blah blah. And I ended up getting them, and it was like the happiest moment ever. It was funny. Like I was happier for those Etnies shoes than I was for when I got like my Xbox One.
you were just like, that's like, you could be the coolest version of yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
The
you
Xbox
perceive-
One was a big moment too, though. Like
Yeah.
there's a few Christmases I remember. The Xbox One, like getting that new level of console, that was, I think I played that thing literally all day after I opened it. It was crazy. The Star Wars walkie talkies I got one year, that was fun. I don't know. Christmas is like, I feel like every year it's in Bluefield. I wake up and it's always in Bluefield. Even after we moved from Bluefield, I go back to my grandma's, and it's always. I don't think I've ever spent a Christmas
outside of the
one
hometown.
year. Only 1 year of my life I've spent a Christmas not in Bluefield. So that's kind of weird,
Oh,
considering
no.
I don't live there. But
Well, you go to your family. It's a
Yeah,
a family holiday.
one
you
year
know?
it was in North Carolina. But every other year has been there. But
been there, yeah.
Bluefield's a nice town for Christmas because
That's
it's
good.
very relaxed.
Yeah,
Easy to get around.
we go there. But our big Christmas tradition that we have here, and I'm pretty sure that I've told you about, but I know that I have not told the listeners about, is we have La Bamba. La Bamba Now, this is literally a family cryptid.
La, 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 bamba.
Yes, that's the song that La Bamba sings.
Yes.
La Bamba is this weird owl ornament that we have. Now, when Selena was a kid, she was told that the dogs report to Santa, and so you have to be good to the dogs. So because they tell
Your dogs
Santa
are the feds, basically.
Yeah, essentially. And they tell Santa whether they've been good or not. So I thought that was delightful, and I wasn't told that because I wasn't really big into Santa. As you know, I've told the story of I don't want like Santa walking around the house. He can ring the doorbell like the rest of them, all that stuff. So I thought that was delightful. So I made up this thing for our dogs. So La Bamba is Santa for the dogs. Now, here's the thing. La Bamba perceives whether they have been good or bad, right? La Bamba is Spanish because I took 3 years of Spanish in high school and I can still write in Spanish. Speaking it, I'm whatever at, but I can write in it still.
True.
So La Bamba will come. La Bamba watches them. La Bamba likes Feliz Navidad, the song, and the song La Bamba. The dance.
Of course.
The La Bamba translates to, by the way, the dance. La Bamba comes. She brings gifts and decorations and a note. Her note tells all kinds of stuff. So the first year, the dogs were both bad and good. So the dogs received new toys, but they also received dentist sticks, which I'd imagine is like the children equivalent of like a I don't know, junior mint. Like as a kid, like you got a junior mint, you'd be like, you'd be like whatever. But the dentist stick is for them being both bad and good. The Bamba brings presents for the dogs, toys, and presents for the dogs to give to the owners, us, like candies.
Yeah.
And French toast. So the first year, she brought the dentist sticks for the dogs. And I forgot the most important part. She brings radishes. That is her spiritual combustibile. Her what she uses to power her magic is radishes. And so this most recent year, not that La Bamba has not come yet this year. I'll post on Instagram when she does.
Right.
This year, in 2018, La Bamba discovered the power of refrigeration, aka refrigeration.
Okay.
And La Bamba found out that you could, instead of getting French toast ingredients, that you could get French toast sticks. You could get ice cream. But guess what she did? She put the radishes in the freezer. She put the radishes in the freezer, and now we still have the frozen radishes. I can pull them out because we haven't eaten them because La Bamba's dumb and put the radishes in the freezer. That La Bamba.
That darn La Bamba.
La Bamba has banners that say Feliz Navidad and all this different stuff. And so that's our a very recent in the past. This is not from when I was a kid.
Right.
This is I am 24. When I came up with this, and it's been going on ever since.
It's just been going on.
Yes.
Okay, well I respect that.
Yeah.
Good old Christmas
But we go to
time.
Bluefield, visit my family, go to Blacksburg, visit my wife's family.
My wife.
Have a nice time. It's very
Nice
pleasant.
Christmas time.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I'm trying to think of the presents that I got. And obviously, so the kids that are like, Nintendo 64!
Yeah.
That was me. I got a Nintendo 64
I forgot about
with the Ocarina of Time. It came in the package, and it had this gigantic T-shirt that was extra large. And I wore that for a month every night. It just had the game case art on it. It just said The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, extra large shirt, and it was so oversized, but I wore it every night. I was big into that. My parents have gotten me a bunch of really nice stuff. They're very generous. But when we watch, they have camcorders of shows and stuff the stuff, and it'll be, they'll be like, oh, David, look, here's your toy, and my dad will be recording, and my dad really gets really excited about Christmas and is really into it and gift giving, and
We have a lot of...
he gets emotional about it, and so my mom would be like, look, David, you got the Millennium Falcon, and it was I'm so excited. I'm like, oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And my mom will turn to my dad at the camera and it was like, Tom, what do you think about that? He's like, that's great.
My mom recorded every Christmas from 99 to 2003.
Yeah.
The whole present opening experience.
Oh yeah, we have.
So
all
I go
that.
back and I can trace the when I got
toys,
the
yeah.
toys. And yeah, so we're the same. Like I've got all these videos of her. Like she would sometimes just set the camera up in like the corner of the living room, and like we'd open the presents and stuff. But that's funny. I know. Like what the funniest thing is, like I don't remember so many of the toys I got as a kid. Like I know. I mean, I was very fortunate as a child. Like I got presents on Christmas, and I mean I know a lot of kids don't. So I don't. I mean I know we probably sound like the most privileged people imaginable right now. But it's like growing up, like I got all these toys and stuff. But then like it's funny. Like so the Xbox that was big and everything. But two of the presents that have been the most beneficial to me. I got a camera, 2015, 2014. I got a new camera, like an official, actual camera, which obviously that ended up working well.
Yeah, since
that ended up becoming my career.
Right.
But then what's funny is last year I had opened a few presents, and I was kind of hanging out, drinking a cup of coffee, and my mom was like, "Oh, you forgot this one." She hands me a box. It was so heavy, but it was just a small box.
It's like a video game presentation. We got one more thing to show you before you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I open it, and it's just like this weird case, and you have to like unzip everything, and I open it, and it's just this huge like battery, like the size of a brick.
Yeah.
And there's all these wires in the case and stuff. I was like, what is this? And it was like a portable like card jumper. So you don't have to have somebody jump your car.
Oh.
But there were like plugs. You could like plug like an actual thing
yeah.
into it and use it to like charge your phone or to like charge something. It's like a little portable generator almost.
A gigantic battery.
And I was like, oh, cool. Thanks, guys. Like, that's cool.
Nice. That's cool.
And then I put it in my trunk. I was like, that's good to have, I guess. Hopefully I never need it. And last month, I was on my way home driving down I-81 in Virginia, and I pull off to get gas. I go in the gas station, get a candy bar, I come back out. My car won't start. And I'm like, well, doesn't this suck? And I'm like thinking, well, let me go in and see if somebody can jump my car. And I remembered. I was like,
you were like, wait a second.
Wait a second.
Santa came.
Hold on a second. My parents are geniuses. And I took that thing out. I hooked it right up. Car started. Boom. I was good to go. So that ended up being, and it actually happened again after that, which is like I told you I need a new battery.
Right.
That was, as a callback to the beginning of the episode now when I talked about needing a new battery. I've used it twice in the last month to jumpstart my car, just like that. So one of the most useful presents I think I've gotten in the last few years.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So,
that's probably true.
So there it is. There you have it. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. We're happy to have you all as our listeners. Oh, now he's playing the Paul McCartney tune. We're gonna get copyrighted.
Just keep talking.
Well, I don't think that'll pick up. We have a Discord. You can go and join that. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can go and find all that at thecryptidcast.net. You can find us there. We found this wonderful Yule Cat story from our Discord listener. Kind of generated stuff off of that. It's all a good time. That's the best way to contact us or contact the show. But you can see all the other stuff that we're doing, getting into. Follow us on Twitter at CryptidCastDave and OCO_photo. It's about the same on Instagram. We're all there. We're doing all the things. We're having a great time. We're having a wonderful Christmas time. All right. Do you want to wish the listeners a happy Christmas?
You know what? From holler to highway, we've got you covered 6 ways to Sunday. And then this is where, if we could, but we can't because it's copywritten, we would be fading out with Wonderful Christmas Time. So just in your head, just listen to it. Just hear it, and that's it.
This podcast was hosted by Dave Chapins and Austin O'Connor. Find them on Twitter at CryptidCastDave and OCO_photo. Music produced by Dave Chapins. Artwork by James Addison. Links to our social media and merch are down in the description below.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows, interesting people. Check out all the shows
Hey friends, this is Robots, the creator of the Robots Radio Podcast Network and host of the two original shows on the network, the Fallout Lorecast and the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. These two shows have rocketed up the iTunes charts. They both together have over 150 5-star reviews in only a couple of months, with bite-sized episodes that take you step by step through the background of the games and the game worlds. They're thought-provoking, well-produced, and a lot of fun. I recommend you go check them out at robotsradio.net or on any podcast reader, podcatcher, whatever you use, iTunes, Spotify. Again, that's the Fallout Lorecast and the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, available everywhere.